Hello, we are live. For my fellow viewers who are watching this, I know this is sudden, me doing this stream. Hell, me doing a stream in general. I actually was considering doing a Star Wars related stream today. But because of what happened with, well, I'll talk about it later in the stream. It's just there's a pressing issues, and people who've already read the title, yes, that's what this topic is going to focus on. Because that 4-hour fucking essay, it's amazing how someone could spend 4 fucking hours talking about a subject, yet say nothing of substance on that subject. It's fucking amazing. How the hell can you spend that long and say literal fucking nothing? And the sources that she uses, like, where's Abby Martin? Where's an where's the Arab journalist that actually talked about fucking Palestine? What about fucking actual Palestinians in Gaza? Why the fuck are we getting our sources from Zionists? You know, the people that are going to freaking spin everything in the worst possible way to make them look sympathetic. It makes me sick. It really does. It really does make me sick. But then again, I'm just going to say this. This is the reason why you shouldn't, like, put people on a pedestal, especially liberals. Or liberals that call themselves anarchists. I'm sorry, Jesse, you're not an anarchist if you're going to listen to fucking Zionist or parrot Zionist propaganda about fucking Zionism and holy fucking shit. How the fuck can you spend 4 hours on the subject and not talk about the anti-Semitic roots in Zionism? Especially Theodor Herzl, the founder of Zionism, said some pretty anti-Semitic things in his writings about Jews. How the fuck can you miss that? Seriously, it's disgusting. It really is fucking disgusting. It's really fucking disgusting. Second thought, I don't know what your people's thoughts on him. He took a principled stance against Palestine. He didn't toe the line because he was afraid of the bottom line. He actually has principles and stands by them. It does make me angry, and it does make me sick because people like her have thousands of viewers watching her, thousands of people that get influenced by her content, and she's spreading the most bullshit, centrist nonsense about fucking the poor settlers. It's like such bullshit. Like, when you look up like a lot of the names of Israelis, like, I don't know how the fuck you missed this. Most of them, their most recent ancestors are from Eastern Europe. They're not from Palestine. They're not from any of the Arab states surrounding Palestine. They're freaking from Eastern Europe. It's like, how the hell can you freaking miss that? Oh, but wait, it's anti-Semitic according to her to even tell these people they should go back to where they came from. Like, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think it's fair to say that I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I really do. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I can't. Because one thing about Mao Zedong, that what he said in combating liberalism, that you don't leave anyone out, no exceptions. Whether it's people you like, whether it's friends, loved ones, people that you admire, you don't fucking hold back. You put everyone on the same level, including yourself. And Jesse Joyner is not an exception for this, for combating liberalism, because what she is pushing is dangerous. She is endangering Jewish people and not to mention Palestinians who live in America. So, since for those of you who are watching this who live in America and who live in the States, know exactly what I'm talking about. She endangers Jewish people by parroting Zionist propaganda. Now, I was originally going to watch it later because it's 4 fucking hours. Like, holy shit, I wasn't going to watch that whole damn thing in one go. But Bad Empanada did a video about it. Now, I didn't want to watch his video. First, I wanted to see the whole damn essay. And honestly, don't fucking watch it. I'm just going to tell everyone here, don't fucking watch it. 4 fucking hours, and she literally says nothing. Literally nothing of substance. Like, nothing about the anti-Semitic roots of Zionism, or Zionists working with Nazis, or how most Zionists are not even Jews. They're mostly Christians. Exactly. And yeah, here's another thing that really gets me. She used no sources from people who actually went to Gaza itself or the West Bank. You have no sources from those people, but you get sources from fucking settlers or the son of the founder of Hamas. I'm not going to say that Hamas isn't problematic. It doesn't have problematic positions, but to put them on the same fucking level as the IDF is disingenuous. Like, who's committing genocide here? Who has the weapons to wage warfare to the extent that Israel has been doing? A genocide's literally being live streamed. This stream is, airing August 11th, 2024. And if this carries on to midnight, which I don't think it will, but if it does, August 12th, 2024 as well. So, whatever. The very fact that we're 10 months into this genocide, almost a fucking year, and you still fucking need to find we need to understand what Zionism in order to combat it. No, we don't. Zionism, if you understand what fascism is, you understand the core tenets of fascism. Zionism checks all the boxes. Like, fuck these people. There is no nuance to be had from Zionist. Why? Why the fuck are we wasting our time with these people? Like, this is the position that I hold, and I stand by this. You don't fucking debate fascists. Zionists are all fascists. There's no ifs or buts about it. You cannot say that Zionists are not fascists. You cannot freaking disclaim, but there's some forms of Zionism that actually aren't fascist. Not all Zionism is fascist. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like way out of her fucking depth. Like, just don't watch the 4-hour video, please. I watched it, so none of you have to. It was such torture psychologically. You can literally get everything out of her video from Bad Empanada's video because she says nothing of substance.
Oh. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I used to like this person, but I can't in good conscience recommend her anymore. Because how the fuck can I when she makes cover for freaking these genocidal settlers? How can I do that? I can't.
Yeah, I have not yet watched the video, but I am but the thing is that I've kind of been, I guess I've been a little bit suspicious about Jesse Gender for quite some time, so it's been kind of, yeah.
I thought it was Journer. Oh, gender, whatever.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, it might be. I might have read it wrong.
It doesn't matter. The fact remains is either she's out of her depth and she doesn't know what she's talking about, which I'm leaning more towards that direction, or she just wants to appease as many people as possible and doesn't want to alienate people. But she even had Zionists themselves that didn't like her video. It's like, you can't please these people.
It's like when you piss off everybody.
You got some dumbasses like, oh, this video is so nuanced and well researched. Like, what the fuck? Okay, she doesn't even scratch the surface of what Zionism even is and how it was founded, or the anti-Semitic roots of Zionism. Like, research on transphobia and the origins of it, but then again, I argue, as is the thought, completely just destroys any video she's done on the subject.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like I've tried to kind of watch the videos in the past, and in the past, like her old stuff, like, you know, yeah, she seems to actually do like a pretty good job of researching stuff, but just recently she just doesn't seem like she like even bothers to even, you know, do a quick Google search or do anything more than doing a quick Google search. And, you know,
yeah, it's fucking disgusting. It's like, how can you, okay, I'm just gonna say this, her video could have been, I said it could have been an hour. No, I argue it could have been like 10 minutes and it would have been the same. We've got the same fucking thing out of it than over 4 fucking hours of nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that gets me a lot about certain creators, especially some trans creators, because it's just absolutely asinine. They'll go on these, you know, long tangents, and it's just, yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I take back what I thought of her Star Wars video. Even that is questionable because, like, how? Okay, I know I'm maybe being biased because I hate The Last Jedi, but I'm just looking at it from a storytelling perspective. How the fuck can you say that Luke Skywalker acting the way he did in The Last Jedi, or the story, or him doing what he did, makes the most sense when, wait, hold on, why the fuck would you leave a map if you want to die? I don't even think she understands basic storytelling, like, principles. It's like, I don't know. It's just I avoid her Star Wars opinions because I thought they were kind of crap.
Yeah.
Star Trek I thought were solid, but Star Wars, she doesn't know much of anything about it. I'm not saying that to be elitist, but anyway, that it is to me. I just kind of feel like she's built a lot of goodwill with a lot of people, and I feel like she abused that with this latest like essay of hers.
Yeah.
There was Jewish trans people that unsubbed to her and don't want to support her anymore because of that freaking video.
Yeah. Well, the thing, I mean, I kind of put her in that same category that I did with that TikToker that I have been recently having beef with, that, you know, who made the mention, and I quote, that, well, for the first 20 years of its existence, Israel could be categorized as socialist. And I'm like, I beg the fuck out of your finest pardon.
Okay, correction. Is not real.
Yeah. And the thing is that, you know, I was talking with another comrade of ours, and it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, there might have been to some degree what you would call a welfare state for those first 20 years, but did we all kind of forget that welfare state only benefited, you know, fellow Zionists at that time? So, you know, so yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, no, it's not. It was not socialist, and it's just so. these fucking, content creators, who are supposed to be a voice for trans people, and they're out here, making such ludicrous fucking statements, and they're not even, and it's like, and for some of them, yeah, they're not even going any further than a Google search, if they even do that much work.
Okay, I don't condone what Putin is doing in Ukraine, but I'm just going to say this. But we'll support Ukraine, even though the country that literally has a society that literally glorifies a Nazi war criminal that genocided like an entire community of Jews.
Yeah.
We'll support literal fucking Nazis, but we'll not support Palestinians defending themselves.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, and it's funny because I was already going to do it, because the TikToker, by the way, that I had beef with actually had, we've talked about it privately about how she did actually respond to me. Did not mention me directly, but she responded essentially to one of the video that I put out about her, and I was going to respond to that. Now with the whole Jesse Gender sort of thing, because I want to do an actual video on it myself, I'm thinking, you know what? This all fits into the same, the same pie. So I'm just gonna just end up making a video about that, which is going to in turn kind of probably tweak kind of the direction I was going to go with that video, but that's okay. It's not like it's going to be that big of a tweak.
It's so easy to support fictional people are being oppressed by a fascist state, but when it actually happens in real time, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who the hell uses the son of Hamas as a fucking source? The guy who's completely unhinged, who said some pretty racist and anti-Arab like remarks about Arabs and Palestinians, and attacked Abby Martin on a personal level, saying she's not fit to be a mother.
Yeah.
Like threatening her. It's like, what the? This guy is a freaking is a sociopath. You're gonna trust him? Well, like no censorship of people that oppose Israel. Like the freaking loyalty oaths that Israel forces people to do, and depending on the state, or getting arrested for. Oh yeah, by the way, she's anti-boycott. By the way, she doesn't support BDS.
Of course, like a lot of liberal Zionists. So it's the thing that also gets me is that these same people are the ones that also forget, and we're seeing more proof of it even now, of the people that are trying to speak out against against the Zionists. Oppression of Palestine with actual like Jewish Palestinians that are within isn't real, and they're and what's the state doing to them? They're dragging them off, they're silencing them, they're convicting them of treason, which is kind of funny because it's like this was the very shit that we were talking about not more than just a few months ago. And so,
speaking of which, she didn't bring that up either. She didn't bring up the history of Zionists terrorizing Jewish communities, or Zionists collaborating with literal Nazis. I mean, there's so much she never doesn't talk about. It's like, how do these fucking people that she's friends with literally don't give a fuck about Jewish people? I mean, every time there's a shooting in a synagogue, like Zionists are silent.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's just the thing that really sealed it home, and I probably could end up finding it because I'm pretty sure I saw it on. I think I saw it on YouTube via Red, which is if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's basically more of a left-leaning publication that actually like isn't like, you know, the typical liberal shit that we get from like, you know, MSNBC and all that garbage. They actually had posted a picture of the Zionist forces that were arresting a Jewish rabbi who was protesting the genocide in Palestine. So yeah, they were there was like one guy, I think, on each side, and they were dragging this Jewish rabbi away, and it's just like, you know, but you know, Zionists don't want to talk about that. They only want to accuse you of being anti-Semitic.
Well, I think that's relevant because like there's another thing she didn't mention. By the way, you're not getting much out of the video. If you want to watch it, be my guest. But what I'm basically, you're not getting much. You're not getting anything out of the video. Like I haven't, like Nada doesn't tell you, or I haven't, or I'm telling you. Like another thing, like she doesn't even like talk about is the mass arrest of Jews protesting not in our name. There's no mention of that. No mention of Jewish Voice for Peace. No mention of freaking the person that in the Biden administration that stepped down and believes that America is making Jews the face of American militarism. It's like, okay, I'm just going to say this. I think her video itself is anti-Semitic. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, we know from experience and stuff like, you know, with this type of stuff that, you know, Zionists, you know, they are anti-Semitic. They typically tend to be anti-Semitic, even though they may claim, and it doesn't matter if they have, you know, Jewish ancestry or not. It's like Jews can still be anti-Semitic, you know. So and particularly Zionist Jews are anti-Semitic. They're no different than the Jewish collaborators during, you know, in Nazi Germany. They are literally no different. You know, they are literally cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, they are, and it's like, I don't know what's her chance of watching this. She probably won't, but it's like it's so ridiculous. it's like how the fuck can you do 4 hours and not say anything? Like there's so, like I don't even think she cared, to be real, and I gave her too much credit, to be real. I don't think she wants to know. She wants to like have her, you know, get her audience and please as many people as possible, and that's that. She doesn't want to lose her sponsor on Nebula. She even says, "Oh, I hate voting for Joe Biden, but I will." It's like, give this fucking reason why she's going to vote. It's, oh, harm reduction, like that fucking matters.
Yeah.
I have a question though. Okay, she spends so much time talking about the Zionists and their families in Israel, but nothing about the Jews, nothing about the Palestinians who live in the United States that are suffering fascist violence, that have lost family members in Gaza, that don't even know if any of their members of their family are alive or dead. Like, basically, like, no word on them. Like,
yeah.
Why should they fucking vote for the people that have murdered their family?
Yeah, but yeah, and that's exactly the thing. It's like the radio silence. It's, you know, on all this, and that's why when I like there's like a story that I can report on and stuff like that, I'm going to report on it. Which is why, like, for instance, when we did the stream about the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, you know, that I wanted to bring that up and talk about that, because that was something that I knew was not going to be reported in, you know, the mainstream media, and especially not going to be talked about amongst, you know, Zionist Jews. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I want to talk about this, but at the same time, like, I wanted, I wanted somebody else that was going to be, that was of Jew, that was of the Jewish background that I could bring in and talk and give his opinion on it, and we did, because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I could sit here and talk about Zionism and stuff like that, but when it comes down to actual, like the stuff that's actually in like the Torah and stuff that's actually concerns Jews and Jewishness and stuff like that, that's kind of like how it is with how like you guys, like you and Jason, and whenever there's like a something that concerns trans people, how you guys usually like to have me on, or want me to usually speak on it first, because it's better to come from a trans person than try to speak for them. And I kind of feel the same way in this, for Jewish people, because I want to lend them that respect, and most of them will agree that what's going on is completely fucked up, and that that people are that the voices that should be talked about aren't. They're being silenced. But then the Zionists want to go on about how, you're trying to silence Jewish voices. No, I'm trying to silence Zionist voices. That's what I'm trying to do. Because I believe that the actual, like, people that follow Jewish law and Jewish practices should actually be the ones that should speak on this, and should actually have a say-so and be talking about the stuff that, the dirty stuff that we don't really want to talk about.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's going to really piss some people off who are indigenous and indigenous ancestry. Jesse Turner made some anti-indigenous remarks by trying to claim basically making indigenous claims to land as could be extremely problematic, and it can be and it lead to extremism. It's like,
of course,
anti-land back. So for indigenous people out there who are watching me, she's not your friend.
Yeah, I think that's really kind of interesting too. A white person who's talking, who's anti-land back and also a raging Zionist. Like, okay, yeah, that like not beating the allegations here.
Well, I don't know if I would call her a Zionist, but she parrots their fucking shit.
Yeah, I've used the term before of soft Zionist, where it's basically, but because I think sometimes even saying liberal Zionist, like I used earlier, I think that I think that more fits, but at the same time, it's also just kind of easier to just say, that whoever this person is a soft Zionist, but regardless, it doesn't really matter. They are, like you said, they are regurgitating this bullshit. So
I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, but considering, like I said, for those of you for Logan who just got here, like, you can't make exceptions when combating liberalism. Not for no one. And even if it's people that you may like or once like, okay, her video, I'll just say this. It's 4 hours talking about Zionism, left-wing anti-Semitism, and it literally says fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. You don't need to watch the video. And I'm dead fucking serious. It says nothing on the subject.
Speaking of combat liberalism, I was actually gonna go into Marxist.org because I want to see if I can't pull like a specific quote I feel that fits this narrative.
Oh yeah, but according to Jesse Turner, she's an anarchist. It's like, yeah, an anarchist that's telling us to vote for fucking Kamala Harris and fucking Biden.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is that even those that claim to be against genocide, that claim to be against Zionism, are out there, saying it's like, oh well, still got to vote for Kamala Harris because things will be so much worse under Trump. It doesn't matter which one you vote for. It's they're both Zionists. The genocide's going to continue regardless, and yeah, it's like Trump might be more of a blowhard, but people also tend to forget the man's also a fucking incompetent idiot. So it's one of the, it's like I actually make the argument that, under Joe Biden and even, Kamala Harris, that things would actually, be worse. That's not to say that I want Trump in there by no means, but it doesn't. But I also understand. But you and I basically understand that it doesn't make a difference. We live under the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. So,
well, also another thing about her video, she basically lied about the Soviet Union kicking out Zionists, basically making it Stalin out to be an anti-Semite. Despite look, I'm just going to say this for any fucking idiotic fan of hers that watches this. Joseph Stalin is the main reason why a lot of Jews are alive today, and why a lot of their descendants are around. Without Stalin, without his leadership to lead the Soviet Union to victory, it would not have been born. Most of the Holocaust would have been covered up. We would barely know anything about it if it weren't for Stalin.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing that the TikToker that I've had beef with regurgitated as well, was that whole thing that I think I actually even had I think I actually had sent it to you in our group chat, but it was it was her basically saying it's like, you do realize that the people that you're telling me to read, because I told her to essentially because I was talking about quoting like Mao and Lenin and all that sort of stuff. She was saying that she was like, Stalin killed his own people, Mao killed his own people, and these men were anti-Semitic, and I'm just like, no. Let's back that train up, because there seems to be a sense of historical revisionism there.
I'd argue that's in itself anti-Semitic, because
it is. It's very anti-Semitic.
Saying, Hitler may have killed a lot of people, but Stalin killed more.
Yeah, that's literally kind of the rhetoric that they, and this takes me back to that point that I was making earlier about how these people are cut from the same cloth as the Jewish collaborators during Nazi Germany. It's like, yeah, Hitler bad, but what about these communist leaders who killed these people and that people, and this wasn't from this person, but I did hear it from another TikToker on there who brought up the whole Holodomor and stuff and the Cossacks, and I was just kind of like, you do realize that most of those people that were purged were revisionist, counter-revolutionary, and or fucking landlords. So yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that was everybody. I'm not gonna sit here and defend everything that Stalin did, because I have my disagreements on certain Stalinist policies. However, if we're gonna come correct, we need to realize, yeah, they purged a lot of people that were counterintuitive to to a revolutionary state. No shit. That's kind of the point, to get rid of that.
Another thing about the Holodomor, most of the sources are literal fucking Nazis.
Yeah, Nazis, and I was gonna say or other bourgeois, like American British sources, but same difference.
Regarding the gulags as well, the guy who wrote the fucking gulag book was an anti-Semite. It's like all these people made in the same cloth. It's like, okay, I can go on for hours. It's like why I don't trust any when it comes to people that are trying to make Ukraine out to be the victims. I'm talking about not currently, but I'm talking about in the past. But if they always get it from the fucking most anti-Semitic people possible.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like, and it's like also like the only people that use Stalinists are fucking liberals. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Like Jessie Turner even used that word in her fucking video when she talked about Israel.
Yeah, you ever notice too that they'll use Stalinist, or sometimes they'll also just use Leninist, like literally just Leninist, not Marxist-Leninist, not Marxist-Leninist, Maoist, anything, just Stalinist or Leninist, or and it's in the same regard that they throw around the word tanky all the time, and and these are the people that would call you and me a tanky. Me and the TikToker that I have beef with, I'm just gonna say it. Her name's Marla, and anybody can look her fucking thing up, but she basically, she and her partner and a bunch of her, fanboys, fangirls, and all that sort of stuff were, the ones out there calling me a tanky, and so I'm just out, so I'm just kind of like, yeah, I believe in Marxism, Leninism. It's like, why is that, like, I don't think it should be the points that I'm bringing up should be considered controversial. They're only controversial to the people that, that placate to the oppressors.
Like it really does make me angry because the amount of influence people like Jessie hold over people, it's like, and she gets pushback actually when she gets political, when she talks about political and historical stuff by leftists who know the history.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying her video did not have some good points, but then again, that's like saying like even a broken clock is right at least once a day. I mean, yeah, in the 4-hour abyss that is the video, she was right about a few things, but that's like, okay, whatever. It's like,
yeah,
she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's so inept when it comes to politics. It's like she should have really stick to entertainment, and people would probably not have as many issues with her.
Yeah, but yeah, but this is also why I kind of plan on like making like, because I was gonna actually review the video during this weekend, but but work, and I've just been tired, and today I just could not sleep worth a shit. But it was so tomorrow was going to be like a day I was going to kind of like try to be a little bit more productive and get shit out there. And one of the things I wanted to do was to actually, make an actual response to Jessie Gender's statements, because I feel that, as a person who is trans, that especially a trans Marxist, it's that people should really actually hear the other side of that, because, I do kind of feel that, I, especially in, in a lot of Marxist circles, I feel like, I do have, that I am a representative of the trans community that should at least say something about this. And yeah, I also realize, that, us even speaking about this on this stream, or me speaking about it in my own video, it's going to get a lot of push. It's going to probably get pushback from, her, from her fucking fanboys and fangirls and fan envies and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to convince them. They're not the ones that I need to convince. Their minds are already made up. So
I don't know. It's a disappointment that, again, this was a lesson not to expect anything out of entertainers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, to be real with you, I never really watched a lot of her content to begin with, because of the fact that I saw her as, more of kind of just, a liberal, and that, and I just in general, a lot of the content just isn't stuff that I'm interested in, in hearing, or that I don't already know about. So it's one of those things where it's like, I guess my expectations were kind of already neutral, if not even there anyway. But so yeah, I am disappointed in her as, part of the trans community. However, I'm not, I'm just kind of, at the same time, I'm not really like entirely shocked.
Essence of Thought is a better trans content creator if you're looking to actually learn about trans.
Yeah.
Issues. I mean, because there's a lot of stuff that Essence talks about that actually Jesse Dirt never even touches, like their most recent series of the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Opening.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention, the final part came out ironically as like a African athlete was attacked in Taiwanese for not being feminine enough.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it's like there's been a lot of this rhetoric coming out on not just what was her name? I believe it was like Amani Khalif or whatever it was. And so there was that. And one of the things that I'd like to point out, and we by no means have to hand it, to Alessandra Mussolini for obvious reasons, but kind of found it a little bit hilarious that even Alessandra Mussolini was basically kind of like, lose with dignity, like to the Italian girl that basically cried like a little bitch. Like she was telling her, it's like, be humbled that you made it this far and lose with honor for your country. So it's like, I thought that was kind of funny, and I'm like, what fucking world are we living in when it's like Alessandra Mussolini is saying that shit. And so
what's freaking I'm just gonna say this: if you actually think those athletes look like men or are men, you need to get the fuck out of your house and touch grass.
Yeah, get out of the fucking basement. Yeah.
They look like women. I can tell that they're women.
Yeah, and okay, so suppose let's humor the argument that the person was intersex, or the person had the higher levels of testosterone and all that sort of stuff. It's just kind of like, it's just it doesn't really fucking matter, because it's like it doesn't make them any less of a woman. So
Matt, okay.
Hey Max,
if you want to join, you're welcome. This started off as it's still related to Palestine. It's just, I mean, come on, we have our autism power level is so freaking high that we're gonna go off topic from time to time.
Yeah, we actually were kind of having quite a conversation over, because a lot of this was related to the issue of Palestine. We were talking about how a trans content creator was essentially pretty much outed herself as a fucking Zionist. So yeah.
Like it's like, I even know I'm not the biggest fan of Bada Empanada. Bada Empanada was able to like dissect her video like with not even within a few minutes. Because he's like, I'm not going to freaking. It's like, I'm not going to watch a freaking 4-hour video. No way. And those are my audience. Unless you're going to respond to it, don't fucking watch it. Don't spend 4 hours of losing brain cells of listening one like factual incorrect statement after another or half truths. No, don't bother. Do not listen to her. Listen to Jewish people about Zionism if you have questions. Please listen to Jewish people. It's like, please, for the love of God. And her brain dead fanboy is like, oh yeah, you're so right. It's so nuanced. It's like, what the, speaking of which, can I just say something? I fucking hate the word nuance. Like, what the fuck? There was no nuance in genocide. Okay. You want to know what he says? Okay. Brace yourself, Max. Nothing. And I'm not exaggerating. She says nothing. Like, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Let's just say she doesn't say anything of substance for 4 fucking hours. Like, she could have gotten her point across in 10 minutes, not less. That's how little she had to say. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. These essay kind of videos need to fucking die. I cannot stand them. I think they've ruined YouTube.
Yeah.
It's one thing to do an hour essay or a 2-hour essay, depending on the topic, but 4 to 5 fucking hours.
Yeah, like, and what you said is correct too. She could have gotten it done in 10 to 15 minutes. Like, I've written I call them scripts. I don't typically tend to like to call the stuff that I've actually like made notes about or actually written something about. I don't like to call them video essays. I call them scripts. But the point is that when I actually write these things, even at their longest, I've had, those maybe go 15, maybe 20 minutes at maximum, but usually on average mine stick to about 5 to 10 minutes because I'm not here to blow a lot of smoke up everybody's ass and ramble for, 4 hours. I'm wanting, most of the time I got other shit to do, and I just want to basically get my point across, make it known, and be just, and inform others. That's the point. She went on like a 4-hour fucking tangent, basically. I don't even think it's even right to say that that's a video essay. That at that point, that's just a fucking that's a fucking ranting manifesto.
It's just like, it's like, okay, it's like, how the hell can you claim you're for a fucking classless society or an anarchist society when you don't even fucking support indigenous people's rights? Like, what the fuck is wrong with? How the fuck do you claim that?
Maxwell's thing about ContraPoints.
Oh, God. I've never watched ContraPoints videos ever.
I have not either. But I think what's really funny is that I guess ContraPoints is like too left for a lot of liberals now, but she's still too liberal for a lot of like actual leftists. So it's just like, so it's like she's kind of like hated by, just kind of by everybody, but yet she's still out there making videos like she's still out there. I don't know really how relevant anymore she is.
I don't even watch her videos. And I'm just gonna say this, even though I never wanted to say this because I don't want to be harsh. If you want a good critique on Harry Potter and its transphobia, there's better people you can watch than Jesse Journer that doesn't spend fucking 4 to 5 fucking hours talking about the subject. Like, what is that guy who did it? Who did it like an hour and a half video on Harry Potter, and he did it in an hour and a half. Like, managed to break it down. The entire series.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his fucking name.
He's like one of the best sources when it comes to J.K. Rowling because he's quick, he's concise, and he gets his points across. And there's other alternatives that actually talk about it too. There are trans women, trans men. There's even cis women that have done it, and they got the point across relatively quickly. I'm sorry. You don't fucking need to do 4 hours of content to get your point across. You can, unless this topic warrants 4 hours, you shouldn't fucking do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, unless you're doing a live stream, actually, even then, it's because a lot of, the longest live streams I've done has been 3 hours, and half of that was usually me reading comments and interacting with everybody. But most, on average, I'd say live streams are about about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. To go on, but to make an actual video that this person actually just rambled on and on for 4 fucking hours, bitch, no. Just no.
The thing is, a video I could justify a 2 to 3 hour essay if I wanted to do it, but then again, that's I don't have the in me to do it. But if I were,
me neither.
Doing an in-depth video on the Foldland games of Fire Emblem, because there's a lot of interesting things to talk about, like all the routes, all the outcomes, the pros and cons of everyone, the outcome. What makes this route the best or worst outcome? I could do it, a deep dive into that and the characters and their motivations. But the main reason why I won't do that is because in order for me to do it, I have to basically replay 7 routes in 2 games.
Yeah.
And two of the routes are identical in terms of their story structure. Take notes. Because, when I first played Fire Emblem 3 Houses, I'm going by not 3 Hopes, but 3 Houses, I was still kind of new as a communist. So in order to do a Marxist analysis on both games, I'd be interested in doing that, but the problem is the amount of work it would take to get it done and not to. But the reason why I wouldn't do it is because, let's be real, if you're a left-wing content creator, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be censored.
Yeah.
I've been censored on YouTube ever since, I outed myself as a leftist. Even before, when I was a star, I would argue it's more accurate to call me a left liberal during the last Jedi controversy. But I was most than my peers were. And I'm just saying back then, I feel like my analysis would not be sufficient. But now I could. But YouTube censors content creators if you're left wing, even if you don't really talk about politics that much. If you even say if you have left leaning sympathies, you get censored.
Yeah, I mean, hell, there's videos. I don't think I've had any videos that I've done in the last couple of years that have gotten taken down. I might have had them flagged for other reasons, but they're usually still up. But I've had old content that I did way pre-transition days. I've had that have been getting flagged and removed and stuff like that by YouTube. And I'm just kind of like there was once I got an email that was saying that a video that I had done from what was it, 2014 or something like that, had gotten removed for like some arbitrary stupid reason, and I'm just kind of like, this set. And so, I appeal all my videos regardless of whether I agree with it or not. I just so I can be a little bit of an asshole, but because I know it's not going to change anything. But it's just like, I literally told them, I'm like, this video sat on this platform for about 10 years. And suddenly now there's a problem with it. Like,
yeah, it's like, I almost feel like YouTube just does it to fuck with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Jason made some comment about it yesterday, but apparently Susan Wojcicki, or whatever her fucking name, apparently she passed away of lung cancer. That's apparently why she actually resigned as CEO of YouTube, was because she was battling lung cancer. So it's like don't smoke cigarettes, kids. But yeah, no, it's just and then but I did have something that did happen to me, and that I don't remember if I think I posted it on YouTube, but I in my community tab. But yeah, I get to join you and quite a few other people who had their fucking accounts suspended on Twitter. It finally fucking happened. I still have my alt, but I'm probably not really going to use it all that much. I just thought it was really funny because, to be quite honest, I've been kind of subtly attempting to try to get my account terminated for a while, and it finally fucking happened. And the reason why was because I told a fucking fascist to go off himself.
I can't really comment about it in deep detail, but I've watched a few videos about it. It was inevitable for a race riot to happen in the UK. Considering how openly racist the UK has been for many years, and having right-wing pundits like constantly fearmonger for immigrants, and it's. Will it happen in the United States? Oh, it definitely will happen in the United States.
I think technically, if we think about it, we could kind of consider, the shit that's happened on January 6th to be considered. Well, I don't think we consider it a race riot. We can consider it a racist riot.
Well, no, I'm saying it will happen on a larger scale. In fact, regarding whoever wins, Trump or Kamala Harris, though, who do I think is going to win? I think it's too early to say. I think it could go either way. I think it's arrogant to assume that Trump is going to win or Kamala. I feel like it's too close to call.
Yeah.
I do feel like Kamala, it's looking more in her favor at the moment.
Yeah, I have this belief because, like, when we saw that, remember a couple of years ago when there was that trucker protest or whatever it was that was going on? Yeah. It started, I believe, I think it started actually in New York or somewhere in the United States, but I think it eventually spread to Canada, and that's essentially how I think it's gonna go. Here, it's like, we're going to get a bunch of right-wing psychopaths that are going to be inspired by the riots in England. They already are, basically. And then they're going to, start carrying out these riots and, to be quite honest with you, I think the city where it's most likely to pop off at is going to be Portland. Because that's where, we see a lot of the Patriot Prayer and Proud Boy protests, because a lot of those guys are actually from, like, over the river in Vancouver, or downstream in like the Dalles, Pendleton. Some of them live in Idaho. A lot of those guys come from the Pacific Northwest. I think that's where, and to be quite honest, I think Portland and or Seattle is where it's actually going to start for the United States.
Well, what I think is going to happen, I think no matter what, we're going to have violence, no matter whether it's Trump that wins or Kamala.
Yeah.
Though I actually think the violence would be worse if Kamala wins.
Yeah. Because look at how a lot of these racists lost their fucking shit just when Obama was elected. And that was back in 2008. But then we're going to have someone who's not only of mixed race, of being African American and Indian American, as well as being a woman. And, we're going to end up, as well as the fact that her running mate is being seen by people as being, socialist because he believes in feeding school children. Yeah, so yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of situations in play that are going to fuel that. Under Trump, would it really be any different? No, but I think that but I don't think that the factors of igniting that ignite that would be like, yeah, Trump can fuel his fan base, but it's one of those things that it's going to be a lot worse if he loses the election, again, claims fraud or some shit, and then of course the president ends up being a woman of color. It's gonna end, it's going to set off a lot of shit. And
I actually think that's the reason why the Democrats want Trump to run against Kamala.
Yeah.
Whether Trump wins or loses, their long-term plan, and the bourgeoisie's long-term plan, will be enacted. And I feel like it would benefit them more. And this is one thing that people like Jesse Jerner don't fucking understand, because they don't know how these things work. Like, the surveillance state will get stronger if Kamala Harris wins, at least faster, because they'll use this justification. Oh, look, we have an extremist problem in this country. So anybody that's any extreme, they'll crack down on the left more than they will crack down on the right. But they'll use it as a scapegoat. Yeah,
and liberals want to talk about how under Trump they're going to institute an authoritarian regime, crack down on the left. They're going to outlaw the Democratic Party, blah blah blah. I'm like okay, and the Democrats are any better? Like, yeah, they're
okay. I'm just going to say this. I don't think the Republicans can do that.
They're too incompetent to.
No, I don't think. No, think about this. The Democrats and the Republicans need each other. They literally do.
Because
you cannot sell the lie this country is a democracy if you outlaw one of the main parties.
Yeah, it gets rid of that illusion of choice. Yeah.
Like the Republicans, okay, let's be real. They're just talking shit, majority of them.
Yeah.
Trump is an idiot. I don't. In fact, I think his attempted assassination was a warning to Trump.
Yeah, I agree too.
Like, if he tries anything to compromise the empire, that they'll do a JFK to him. I'm just saying that I don't have Homeland Security banging on my door.
It's going to be one of those things where it's like, it's kind of like how Jason said it the last time. It's where it's like, this was a warning, and the warning is, if you keep doing this, we're not going to miss next time.
We're not going to depend on someone that can't shoot.
Yeah.
Well, I just see things getting worse if Kamala wins, because they will crack down even more. Kamala Harris is more of a fascist than Trump.
Yeah.
It's more like Trump. Like if you hear her anti-immigrant rhetoric, she sounds just like a Republican. She doesn't sound any different.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's why a lot of it's funny because I actually have heard people saying that she's basically kind of like the next Hillary Clinton, and it's just like, well, here's the thing, unlike Hillary Clinton, like, to be quite real with you, like, I know that you say that it's too close to call. I kind of think, honestly, that at this point that Kamala is actually more likely to win than Biden definitely was. And it's one of those things where it's like, I think that's going to be the big difference is the fact, however, it also comes down to, can the woman, keep up enough of a facade to keep her numbers bolstered and not basically go flapping her gums like Hillary Clinton did.
I don't think Kamala is as arrogant as Hillary is.
Yeah, I agree.
Any illusions that she's only in the position that she's at because she was vice president and
I think she also has more. I think the reason too is that she also has more charisma. She's kind of almost got that Obama's like aura of that of charisma, and whereas Hillary, she just there was vast sections of that of the voting population that did not actually like her. Yeah, she pulled strong with a lot of, more middle class, older white women, but she didn't. But she didn't exactly. But if I remember correctly, she didn't really match very well with like a lot of the younger crowd. So.
Also, I think another thing about I actually think that she was the candidate they wanted the whole time.
Yeah,
they had. I think they had Kamala Harris as vice president. I know there's no evidence, so don't claim I'm just saying a conspiracy theory for those who are watching. I think they anticipated Biden health deteriorating, and Kamala Harris, they didn't actually put her on the ticket until the last minute because there would be nobody can basically say there nothing that can be done.
Yeah,
the fear of Trump as a tactic to get people to like support her.
Yeah, and like they're still regurgitating that, but at the same time, I think that the difference is that at least now they feel like they have at least a thin veil of cushioning to kind of fall back on because with Biden running, let's be real, they didn't have they didn't. Their whole rhetoric was just their whole platform was literally Trump bad, so vote for me. Why does it kind of remind me of President Ackerman from Red Alert saying "Vote for me if you want to live"?
Well, it's like I think one thing that Kamala has in her favor is her age.
Yeah,
because one thing they can't attack her for her age, but the Democrats can. Again,
yeah,
that someone who's pushing 80 should not be president. Like they can literally.
Yeah.
But not to mention Trump's entire campaign was counting on the running against Biden.
Yeah, and now that Harris is running, it's kind of really thrown a wrench in there.
And all they resort to is like racist attacks on her, but not using the actual truth about her record. You literally they could bury her easily, but they won't because they support what she does.
Sorry, the vote for me if you want to live. That sounds something similar to what Arnold would have said when he was running. Yeah.
It's like Republicans don't want to come off as being anti-cop because that's who Kamala Harris is, and they brought up her record. They basically come off as being anti-cop, and they're pro-cop.
Yeah. But
so, yeah, they can't fucking basically attack her on her record because that would basically make. Sorry, that would make like them anti-cop. They don't want that. So, yeah, Kamala was not something they're prepared for. Could they still win? Yes, but anything can happen from now into November. I think what's going to determine the outcome is simply, I think Trump not debating Kamala is not a good look on Trump because it makes him look weak.
Well, that was one of the reasons why, he was so willing to debate Biden, because, Biden just made himself look like Biden got up there and did the one thing that he was, supposed to not do, which was look like, a senile old man. And he did that. That's why Trump knew he could get away with it. But next to Kamala Harris, who, is a former, top state prosecutor, she's got, a lot of intelligence, a lot of charisma that is just going to absolutely destroy Trump in any debate. And it doesn't really help that her running mate, actually has a sense of humor and actually has like a person, and actually has both of them have a personality, and Trump picked a guy who has like the driest fucking personality and sense of like, to be quite honest, I have never seen, like, even with like Rick Santorum and other candidates that have come before, I have never seen a person up there who had such any more of a milquetoast, just bland, demeanor about them than J.D. Vance did. So, like,
Well, it's like Trump had to follow the advice of his idiotic sons.
Yeah.
Never listen to your children.
Just don't listen to your family in general for political advice. Like, just no. Like, me. Like, and the thing is that every time that that J.D. Vance gets up there on stage and and says anything, damn well that the Trump campaign advisors probably have a muzzle in their mouth, through the whole damn thing, and are just kind of like, just be cool, just be normal, and then he says some absolutely asinine shit.
Okay. I just think Trump he appeals to the most boomer like part of the voter base, and I just feel like that also that's also why Kamala and her running mates, why they have an edge over Trump at this point, because younger voters would more likely vote for Kamala than Trump.
All I can say is with J.D. Vance, someone really needs to check that man's hard drive, because number one, we already know he has a weird thing about couches. So I'm like, what? And not only that, the guy has just got that fucking like, pedo bear fucking beard going on, like bro, like this dude just looks like he's got some weird shit, some weird demons going on.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this: this guy is not gonna be relevant in politics after this election, regardless.
Oh yeah, he's barely relevant as it is now. That's why I said he's just like the most bland and milquetoast person. Like, honestly, the whole thing about the couch thing was like, honestly, the most, like, probably honestly the biggest thing about his personality that than anything else, because there's nothing. The guy is a fucking android, I swear to God.
Yeah, but here's another thing about Kamala's running mate. He's a Zionist as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, a soft Zionist who is like, oh, I want a ceasefire. It's like, okay, where do you stand though on the whole like situation about Israel occupying Palestinian lands, or isn't real occupying Palestinian lands and continuing to mercilessly kill tens of thousands of people? Radio silence. Just
Oh yeah, but if we don't vote for Kamala, you're racist and you're sexist. Do you want Trump back in the White House?
Yeah, like that protest a couple of days ago with that was at one of Kamala's rallies where she's like, "I'm speaking right now. Do you want Trump?" And it's like, and then of course the liberal media wants to fucking say shit like. It's just kind of like, oh, well, she met with them like beforehand or whatever, and it's like, source? Like, where's the proof of that?
Like I said just now, I made it the fuck up.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like that is literally the source for that. They made it the fuck up because I cannot find any proof of it anywhere, and from what I actually kind of get out of it, most of the people that were there actually have said the opposite. So that she never did speak to them. Yeah.
I hate this election cycle. I want it to fucking end. I hate it.
I've honestly, there's a reason why I made, a public post on my social media where it's like, I have grown, like, there's a lot of friends of, like, I'm so tired of this election because, number one, a lot of friends of mine, well, not a lot of friends of mine, but let's just say the liberal friends of mine, specifically the ones that live in, like, still live in California, and the ones that are also, some of them that are up here, like my liberal friends are just absolutely insufferable, and I already knew that this election was going to be insufferable and the liberals were going to be insufferable, but fucking Christ, like it's gotten to the point where I think I've actually lost a few friends and actually had to just block certain people because they're on this whole, tirade of, oh yeah, well, the genocide is bad and blah, 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 but we still got to vote for Harris. Like, don't give me that gaslighting bullshit. Like,
where is the red line? That's the question I like to ask. Because if you don't have a red line, what's your breaking point? It's like you have no fucking principles. It's like,
and that's the problem. None of them do. None of these liberals do. They don't have any principles. They don't have any morals or anything. Any sort of morals that they say they have, any line in the sand they say they have, is a fucking lie. They don't, because they don't. Because they're the types of people that will make any excuse to continue to vote, in this sham democracy, and and come up with any sort of like gaslighting rhetoric to throw at you to guilt trip you into voting, and despite the fact that they claim to stand to be against genocide and claim to be against all this other shit, or even claim to be a leftist. And it's just like, I'm sorry, if you're supporting the bourgeois democracy and you're out there telling people to go vote, or that you're continuing to vote, you're not a leftist. You're a liberal, and liberals are right wing. So it's
one thing to vote in local elections, or if you're trying to get a senator like Curry Bush, who was basically ousted. Like to keep those people in there and in the favor and undermining the system that way. That's, if you do it locally, that's fine. voting, there's nothing wrong with doing it if you're doing it locally.
Yeah.
Or at the state level. That's different if you're trying to like reduce the amount of fascists that are in our government. That's not the same thing as voting.
Yeah. And as many of us have said in the Marxist community have said numerous times before, you cannot change the system changes you.
You know what true harm reduction would be if you actually are going to vote at all, is to do it locally.
Yeah.
That's true harm reduction.
Yeah. And honestly, that's kind of something that has been that we have promoted, even as far back as as the foundings of the Soviet Union, where it's like we're voting, where we vote for deputies, representatives from the bottom and work, who go represent us, all the way up. That, an actual people's democracy, not this fucking bullshit, where we have to vote for the person at the top and hope that it, and hope that has effects on down the line. It's kind of funny because that's exactly basically how trickle down economics works. And in this case, it's trickle down politics.
Like I said, that is the justifiable reason to vote, is to do it locally. Like if there's a fascist that could potentially be governing your city or your town, then yeah, you should vote in order to keep the conditions as safe as possible for yourself and your community. That's a justifiable reason to vote, but not on the federal level. Like on the federal level, what the fuck are you doing by voting? It shows support for the same kind of fucking policies that are being committed to the people in the global south worldwide. You're supporting the genocide in Palestine. You're supporting the genocidal sanctions on North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, and God, I can't even list every country this America has sanctioned, but you support that by voting federally. Hell, if you're a vote, even voting third party would be at least saying something than just voting for the fucking two main parties. And I wouldn't even do that because even third parties fucking candidates are fucking shit, most of them, when it comes to their politics.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess Maxwell was saying that he actually could come on if so. Yeah.
Oh sure, if you want.
Yeah, I'm down.
And for those of you who are watching this like after the fact, yes, the title of the video is about Palestine, but it's the whole point of saying it reveals people's true colors is it evolves to other issues too, not just Palestine.
Yeah.
Like Project 2025. I'm just gonna say this. It's been happening for a very long time. Like if you're scared of Project 2025, then you're afraid of it mostly because of your own self-interest. You don't care about the people that were affected by the proto Project 2025s or the projects that came before Project 2025. It's nothing.
Yeah.
There was Project 2017. There was of course, I'm pretty sure there's projects for every fucking year that a Republican president became president.
Yeah, and that's the thing that people I get really tired. That's another thing that I get really tired of liberals keep throwing back in our face. It seems like for the most part, it's more just now the generic, not Trump, sort of thing. But there for a while, they were throwing Project 2025 around because that was like the big, like, boogeyman fad thing to be tossing around. And it's just like, but it's just, and it was people like us that were saying Project 2025 has already been ongoing. Like, it's been ongoing for years. It's just like, and if
It's been a thing since the 80s, but they change the name every fucking time there's a Republican administration.
yeah, it's on. Oh, it's on Maxwell. Pop in for just a second. So,
Wow.
like literally for a second, like maybe he's having connection issues.
I was originally going to do a Star Wars fucking topic, but this wouldn't leave my mind.
Oh God, that's honestly, that was another stream. I think I had said that that if you were doing in the next couple of days, that I was like, I'm down for that.
Oh God, I have to feel. Honestly, The Last Jedi is holy shit. Of course, we're quick. I don't want to spoil what I would do in the future. It's not going to be next week. It'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
I have the energy to do it. I feel like that's a stream I like to do solo because the Jedi's Cantina is kind of my thing, and I feel like I haven't done a video by myself on Jedi's Cantina for a while.
Yeah.
That's a stream I want to talk about. Like, long story short, I think people that say The Force Awakens is worse than The Last Jedi, I think is a pretty stupid argument.
Yeah.
And even though here's the thing that people don't want to accept. The Last Jedi is better and worse than The Force Awakens. I know it doesn't make any sense, but hear me out when I say that it's better. It's better because at least it's different, but that's not really saying a whole lot.
I will say I liked the action, and I just liked kind of how violent it was.
Yeah, but
the story is not good.
It was what is better about The Force Awakens, but the story, the characters.
Although at least the story, they did something quote unquote original.
They didn't do anything original.
Literally rehashes. Well, you could say rehashes Empire.
Okay,
Force Awakens is beat for beat.
I'll get into more detail when I do a video about it. I'll just say this: The Last Jedi ruined every signal character and emasculated every male character that past and present at the time. Like, Han Solo was lucky he fucking died in The Force Awakens. Who knows what Rian Johnson would have done in The Last Jedi if he survived past that movie. Like, it just seemed like Luke Skywalker, Rian Johnson was injecting his daddy issues onto Luke. Like, Luke's entire rhetoric about the Jedi just feels like an edgy Reddit post. Like, it says nothing about Luke's character. It adds nothing to Luke's character. In fact, Rey as a character does not progress at all in The Last Jedi. In fact, she regresses in The Last Jedi. Any development that she has, any meaningful development, any growth is gone in the first scene that she appears in. Like, it's almost as if nothing happened. Oh yeah.
I wish Finn was the main character, because seeing the commercials for Force Awakens, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be the main character, and even for a little bit, oh, he can use the lightsaber. This is gonna be cool.
I think Finn and Rey were gonna share the spotlight together. I think he was going to be as equally as important as Rey was.
Finn definitely at least had some form of a personality. So
interesting backstory, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Other problems too. Finn's character they removed everything that made that character who he was. Like, he's a coward. As the way he overcame his fear in the last movie. Why the fuck is he running away again? Why is he a fucking?
It's like Usopp progressing his character too.
Okay, I'm gonna keep this. Okay, Usopp makes sense for his character to be a coward, and because he wouldn't be Usopp without it. Finn. But
I'm talking about when he went back and he became after the time skip. For a while, he was like, "Oh, I'm super cool now," and then he was like I think it was Dressrosa when he didn't save the little pixies or whatever, and he ran away. Come on.
Okay, Finn as a character was emasculated, and you know what? I'm just gonna say this. I think it was racist how Finn was treated in The Last Jedi. They cucked the black guy.
Yet I don't necessarily agree with the whole thing, because that sounds like alpha male kind of ideology, but
Well,
it might be racist, but I don't think it's like
no, they literally
emasculating
emasculated Finn. Like any positive traits that he had, like they emasculated him. Not to mention they treated him like he was stupid. Like if anything,
But that's
like
kind of saying that like masculine characteristics are inherently good, and if you
but
lose them,
that's
you're
not what
bad.
let me hold on.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Let me elaborate further. Like because I'm not going to get too deep into this because the Last Jedi will have its own topic. Like Canto Bite, instead of having Rose be the one that hates the place, it should have been Finn, and Rose should have been the one that was indifferent to the suffering of the children and the slavery. I'm saying their roles should have been reversed. Like Finn, like being a fucking slave, not understanding slavery. It's like what the fuck. It's like there's so many problematic things about the film. And Luke Skywalker, okay, I'm just going to say this. Luke Skywalker represents positive masculinity until The Last Jedi came around and ruined his character.
I would agree because he didn't like use his powers to oppress people. He used his powers to fight for people who couldn't fight for themselves. Like that's what I think is positive.
And I'm just going to say this. Okay, I don't know how this is going to come off. This is the SJW culture at the time. They were demonizing any form of masculinity as toxic. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. And Luke Skywalker represented the positive aspect of masculinity.
I mean, I can kind of get behind that idea. Like, and you're right. There was a lot of like. It was a really weird time in the social culture. So,
well, then again, I'm not going to say anymore because this video will be 3 hours. So,
hey, we're already halfway there.
Well, my audience, what you heard is a preview to what my Last Jedi video is going to be like. Anyway. It's just like so many people have shown their true colors in the past like 10 months. Like I don't know, it's like I don't understand why it's so hard to simply say no. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to give people too much credit, but I just feel like why is it so hard? Like they simply say no more. It's like I just feel like. I feel like Americans truly do need to suffer in order to actually gain empathy for other people.
Yeah. You were saying earlier, what's the bottom line? And the bottom line is when they are the ones who are getting oppressed and the stuff that they face, and I'm not even American, but it's close, right? The stuff that we face is not even close to what people under the boot of imperialism face. So if they were to face anything similar, it would be then they would do something. But they're so ingrained in there. That's just me as a first worldist, third worldist.
I think Jesse Joyner is a perfect representation of this of first worldism and first worldist thought regarding Palestine. That's
actually funny because I was gonna make that point earlier, and then I think I just forgot. that was actually something I was thinking about earlier when we were talking about it.
Originally, I was actually going to do a short video talk about the subject, and it was going to be titled "The First Worldism." A follow up to Jesse Joyner's. That's what it was originally going to be, but my fucking camera wouldn't work. I was like, screw this. I'll just do a live stream. Doing a live stream out of nowhere. I mean, that gets views. I don't know why, but people get more receptive when I do streams out of nowhere than planning them out.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm most likely going to include something related to first worldism when I do my response about Jesse Gender. So yeah.
I think maybe you and I, Maxwell, should critique some of her takes on Star Wars because that's we were reluctant to do it because it's 5 fucking hours.
Yeah, I watched it like once and I'm like, I don't want to watch it again. Like, there were parts of it I thought were very good, but there were also parts for me that were like kind of red flags. So one of them was
feel like they're out of
sorry, go ahead.
they were out of their depth when it came to talking about Star Wars.
Well, I know she's more of a Trekkie, right? So, but
Okay,
that doesn't mean
yeah.
we can't talk about it. But also,
her critique is not invalid. Some of it's actually solid and hard to argue
no,
against.
there was good points. Like I think one of the main flaws is focusing on the individual instead of the system of Hollywood. Like I don't know if it was George Lucas is obviously like kind of sellout, but that's what you do when you're part of the Hollywood system. I don't think it was him that tried to do it purposefully. It's like that's what you do. Like yeah, and then also a lot of it was like just kind of vague, like talks about authoritarianism. And I'm like, you can say fascism, right? You don't have to say authoritarianism because it makes you sound kind of like a liberal.
What's hilarious? There was a fucking Disney Star Wars fucking like shill. I almost call him a fanboy. That was basically saying that wait until the Disney investigations are finished. Your channels like yours will be finished, including small channels that are anti-Disney. You know what? I said you do know authoritarianism is anti-Star Wars, right? I'm sorry. that you're everything that Star Wars is against. No response.
Oh, jeez.
I don't. The thing is, I've been trying to be silent about it for a long time, but I am sick and tired of people basically saying that stories have to be like the real world or have to like put realism into stories when it's like no, a story should be a fucking story. Yeah, realism should be doesn't have to be a thing to make a story good or believable, but like
yeah. I agree, but at the same time, there's so many people, and we've talked about this before, like so many people who can't understand that stories aren't like real life. So then, on the other hand, people are also like, oh, this is just like what happens in the story. It's like, no, real life isn't like stories. But not all stories have to be like real life. That's the beauty of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Luke Skywalker fucking wanting fucking to die, yet he leaves a fucking map. But that's the only way you can present the story.
That's a whole nother can of fucking worms, but yeah.
I'm gonna tear that shit a new one when I get to the Last Jedi video, because in fact, I think that is the worst argument I've ever heard defending the Last Jedi, and I've heard a lot of bad arguments. The story could have gone, it had to go this way. It's like no, the story could have gone a million different ways without ruining what came before it. And I'm sorry for those who don't like Force Awakens, I'm being one of them. You have to work what you already set up.
Yeah, you do.
It doesn't matter how fucking bad it is. It's like I think George R. R. Martin said this, like just because someone figured something out, you shouldn't fucking change it because it will ruin what you set up, and your story makes no sense. Like yeah, that's essentially what The Last Jedi is. Jesus, how many times I've spent an uncomfortable amount of time ranting about this movie. I think the time is approaching and I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a oh, Jesus. Palestine, The Last Jedi, what the fuck? Since this is really to Palestine, fuck Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
What is he doing now?
He's a Zionist.
Well, I knew that already. Did he say that or something?
He compared the IDF to the Rebel Alliance.
I heard about that shit. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what?
Backwards ass fucking logic.
You know one thing that's really interesting about a mobile game that's been delisted for years? There was this graph. I don't. The people who played the Rebel Alliance were in the global south, and those who played as the Empire were in the global north.
Yeah, you said that before.
Yeah, but I'm saying I can't help but think, wow, Star Wars in the real world. Let's see. Oh yeah, the global south supports the rebellion. I wonder why they play rebellion.
I just can't help but whenever he opens his mouth, I'm just kind of like, you are the chosen one. You were meant to bring balance to the force, not join the Sith.
You could have just been a silent liberal, and people
You know
would
what
have still
thing's
liked
really-
you a little bit.
Here's the
But you had
thing.
to open your stupid mouth.
Okay, I don't understand why. Okay, you could correct me, Nicole, if I say something that's incorrect, but I don't understand for the life of me why would a trans person would care, give it two shits about what Zionists think when Zionists are some of the most transphobic people around.
Yeah.
Why would the fuck would you care?
Honestly, that's actually a question that I've been kind of wondering myself, especially since some of the most vocal Zionists that I've been seeing, at least in my feed, probably for an obvious reason, have been certain trans people.
Really?
And yeah, one of them that I've actually had beef with recently is this TikToker who's of Jewish background, who's also a trans actress living in New York City. So go figure. And it's one of those things where she made the statement, and I mentioned this earlier on the stream, where one of her arguments to me was that was because I was being funny and I was quoting like Lenin and Mao and stuff like that, and she was just kind of like, you do realize that all these guys, killed and starved and murdered their own people, and that they were anti-Semitic, and then says,
anti-Semitic, what?
Right, and then and then said, and I quote, followed all this up with that for the first 20 years you could make the argument that Israel was a socialist state, and I was like, and I'm thinking, yeah, and I was like, I beg your pardon, what? Like, okay, yes, there was a what you could describe as in some twisted way as a welfare state that only benefited the Zionists. That's not socialism. In fact,
doing most of the labor are Palestinians too, like in the olive groves and like construction workers, like that's just like fascist, basically. Like, yeah.
Just
dumb,
yeah,
very dumb.
I don't understand. So yeah, going off of Dark Zenobia's question, just honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why certain trans people even give a fuck about Zionists or are placating to Zionists in any way, because it's like Zionists are, as Logan says, they are usually transphobic. In fact, not even usually, they are transphobic. So, like,
and not to mention, some of the biggest well-known Nazis are Zionist.
Yeah, well, I mean, even the that whole thing of Israel being a welfare state that only benefited the Zionists, that is very much that's what the Nazis did. Yeah.
Yeah, they used Jewish and Eastern European labor to make Germans' lives better while putting people in concentration camps.
Yeah, exactly what the Zionists are doing to the Palestinians. So
here's the most disgusting thing of all about her video. She ignored Holocaust survivors denouncing Israel.
Oh my God!
Not in our name. She completely ignored them. It's like, what the fuck?
Did she use any Jewish anti-Zionist sources?
No, none.
Oh.
Shocker.
Then, honestly, well, then that's kind of anti-Semitic in itself.
Yeah, that's what Jordan was saying earlier, was that it's Zionist and anti-Semitic rhetoric.
You're equating the two together, and you're not. That's anti-Semitism. That's,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Weisfeld talks about this a lot.
She also basically was criticizing the left for not allowing freaking former IDF members in their circles. No, that they had no choice.
why is it that all these people literally just sound the same? They like this person that I've had beef with, Jesse Gender. They both sound all regurgitate the all the same fucking rhetoric. It's like, well, why aren't you including the IDF into your leftist circles? Because they're not left.
Oh, she never mentioned IDF members harassing college students on U.S. campuses. And the most disgusting thing is
happened at my
they never do.
It was probably Mossad people.
She never brought up Benjamin Netanyahu being a Holocaust revisionist. She didn't bring. I'm just listing things for those who don't want to watch the video, who just need to know what's in it and what's not in it. I'm sorry. There's just so much bullshit that I didn't.
Don't worry about it.
I feel like I'm losing brain cells just trying to recall everything in that fucking that fucking abyss of a video. It's like there's other things too, like she didn't talk about.
Well, it's kind of funny because Marla, the chick that I've been in beef with, she's me and actually a couple other leftists in her comments were making the argument about the snipers on the roof and them oppressing protesters against the genocide, and same thing, radio silent, did not even.
Oh, and here's another disgusting thing. She didn't mention Aaron Burchnell.
No, that's another thing.
How the fuck can you talk about one U.S.
I did
protest genocide against Palestinians? You don't bring him up. You don't bring up a Palestinian boy that was murdered in Florida right after it happened. It's like there's just so much she doesn't even talk about. It's like that's why it made me okay. By the way, the past few days it made me reevaluate. Is this person truly malicious, or she just doesn't care? And
both.
That she doesn't care, and she may be an Islamophobe and an anti-Arab racist.
Yeah,
I'm convinced of that and an anti-Semite because she ignores every fucking thing that actually that mattered. If she truly wanted to educate her audience,
you said she used like sources from some guy who was like anti ex-Hamas, but now he's like anti-Palestine or something. Like, why would you choose that as a source?
This guy is notorious for talking over people that support Israel, even those who have been victimized by Israel. This guy's a fascist, and I don't want to equal to her anymore because it's like you took sources from people like that, yet you didn't even listen to actual Jewish voices. I don't even think she's ever been involved in leftist organizing either. She was called out for that too. But she deleted a lot of comments, if you're wondering.
I bet. You also notice, and because I've noticed this from both, because I've noticed this with Marla as well, was the fact that they will silence those comments, and the people that want to bitch about leftists that are silencing Jewish voices. Yet these Zionists are the ones that are actually the ones silencing Jewish voices, the ones that are actually saying, no, what's going on isn't right. It isn't, dare I say, kosher. It isn't, this goes against Jewish law. And, they don't care. They'll just, they'll talk over you. You come up with any fucking excuse that they can. And, and that in itself proves that, just how anti-Semitic that they actually are. And yes, just because they're Jewish doesn't mean they can't be anti-Semitic. Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Zionists are some of the most racist and most colonialist people around today. Like I can't expect her to have this in her video because it happened recently, but the way they acted towards to people and in their own in other people's countries like Japan.
I've seen this. Yeah.
Like
Israelis
like-
are some of the most hated tourists, like almost more than Americans.
okay.
Like places they go. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
just saying Japan here, but Japan are some of the most. The Japanese are some of the most polite people you'll meet.
They're so polite. I went there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, these Zionist scum were fucking acting all belligerent because you had people supporting Palestine, and the woman didn't speak English, and they were fucking talking over her, and like in Vietnam as well. You have these Zionists. We don't know what happened fully because they were only recorded at a point where he said kick them out of his shop. And they were trying to get this guy canceled, yet they made him more popular.
Literally, the thing that I thought that really just is kind of been, I think, speaks absolute volumes was the fact that the Japanese government was doing something about they did not invite Isn't Real to the Nagasaki Memorial event or whatever it was for the victims of the atomic bombings, and because they've actually spoken out against the genocide, and apparently I guess the United States and the UK and I think France as well, but I'm not positive. They didn't end up going, and and basically this has had some this is started a lot of discussion about the international relations now between Japan and a lot of the Western imperialist countries, all because Japan was just kind of like, yeah, genocide is bad. Wasn't that kind of what you were trying to tell us back in the 1940s?
To be fair, though, Japan is like, genocide's bad, except for when we did it to the Koreans and the Chinese.
They have not. They don't apologize for the massacre of.
Right.
Well, it was more than just that, but yeah.
Yeah, they don't apologize for any of that. But anyway, it's like the very fact that you're alienating one of your partners. Okay, this is more of a joke. It's like, where the fuck are you going to get your animation from? Because America's animation certainly isn't good. It's like, are you gonna cut off your source?
Oh God, yeah. Imagine that, a civil war against of the American government against all the weebs.
I'm sorry, I had to make that joke because I had to. But still, it's like it's ridiculous. It's like this is what I'm saying. If you're trying to, I'd rather deal with an outright Zionist than someone who both sides it or tries to make one side look bad to show the good and bad of both sides. Like barely anything about the Palestinians. Like get more sympathy for the Israelis than when the fucking Palestinians. Oh, what happened on October 7th was a tragedy. Yeah, it was, but not for the fucking settlers.
I don't think it was.
No, hold on.
It was a bunch of soldiers at a party.
No,
come on.
No, hold on. Let me finish. Not for the fucking settlers, mind you. The very fact that these people were forced to stay in a prison for so fucking long, and they did the one thing that most people would be doing if they were in that same position, fighting back. The very fact that it had to happen in the first place is what makes it a tragedy.
Yeah.
They were forced to be put in that position and forced to because nobody else gave a shit until they made a fuss. And here's the thing: misinformation about fucking what happened on October 7th. Israel killed most of the people there. It wasn't Palestinians that did that. It was Israel.
Also, it was in response to people protesting outside a prison, and then a bunch of people got killed and arrested, and then Hamas was like, "Okay, we've had enough." But Western media won't tell that. But,
Oh yeah, and don't get me started. Hers basically, comparing Zionists to and Israelis to Nazis is extremely gross. What the fuck? There's Holocaust survivors that do the comparisons.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's gross that the Zionists are doing things so much like the Nazis. That's just reality. Yeah.
I'm just gonna quote Norman Finkelstein: If you don't want to stop being called Nazis, stop acting like Nazis.
Mm.
Oh yeah, Norman Finkelstein. You could have gone anybody but a Zionist. Okay, I'm not saying Finkelstein has his own problematic positions, but he isn't wrong when it comes to Palestine.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. No! Oh my God! I can't believe we've been talking about 2 hours about this woman.
I mean, again, that's kind of why, like, I was, like, last week, I was kind of, after receiving that indirect response from Marla Alpert was the reason why I was going to do a response in general. But then when you mentioned the whole thing about the Jesse Gender thing, I'm just like, I guess I should do something to that. And then today I kind of got last night while I was at work, I kind of got to thinking, I'm like, both of these two say very similar, regurgitate the very similar rhetoric. So I think I'm just going to speak, on that in general. And it's just so, it's going to be, so I guess it's going to be a twofer. So I'm actually kind of excited to do that, because like I said earlier, it's like, as a person who is trans, it's one of those things I feel like it is kind of, my responsibility, at least in our community, to speak out against these Zionists who just themselves happen to be trans. Because it's like, because their rhetoric, their logic, their arguments are all completely flawed. Honestly, the one thing I thought about when I got that response, that argument from Marla about Israel being a socialist country for the first 20 years, I was like, the first thing that came to mind was, it's like your logic is bad and you should feel bad. I'm sorry, but what the flying fuck? Like, my exact words were, and I told Jordan this too. My exact words were, "I beg the fuck out of your finest pardon, madam." Like, what?
Well, that's another thing. I forgot. Now that I recall. It's like, this person obviously cares nothing except about her bottom line. Like, she's basically telling people we shouldn't. This is back when Joanne, the person that has the black mold in her like, that when she basically did genocide, not denial on trans people in the Holocaust, that we shouldn't call J.K. Rowling a Holocaust denier. It was like, what the fuck?
What?
She's at least changing the facts of what the Holocaust was to suit her own.
Which made her tweets banned in Germany.
Yeah.
It's like her tweets are banned in Germany because she did Holocaust revisionism. It's like, how the fuck is it not Holocaust?
Yeah, and like, by no means should we exactly give it to the Germans, because they have their because of their own hypocrisies. But given their their stances when it comes to Holocaust denialism, when they ban her tweets in their country, it's like that really speaks volumes right there.
Well, here's the thing that's really disgusting, though. She talks about anti-Semitism, and she doesn't talk about the reemergence of Nazism in Germany, which is a very scary thing.
In all of Europe, really.
How bad? Well, I bring up Germany because it is essentially what it's not the okay. Let's be honest. America is the original inventor of National Socialism, but Germany was the one that actually synthesized it. The very fact that its ideology is back live and well. Not to mention Jews having their accounts seized and their accounts closed down. It's like I'm pretty sure my comrade's gonna be happy with this stream when he watches it, knowing that I fully denounced her because I had to, hard as it was to do, but I had to.
Yeah, I've actually made sure to put it on my community tab and my. Well, I guess I should just start calling it my new main because my alternate Twitter is now my main Twitter because my main Twitter got hosed the other day. So I made sure to promote it, and I also texted one of our comrades. I figure I should just probably put it in the chat or whatever for us all. But it's one of those things where it's like I really think it was really good for us to talk about it. And like I said, I'm going to end up following up with it in the next couple of days because I want to.
Oh, I wish you luck, because 4 hours of fucking nothing. I don't recommend watching the video.
I think I'm gonna just go. I think I'm gonna go with the bad empanada version, and because I don't think I'm gonna have I don't think I'm gonna have the capacity to sit through 4 hours of brain rot.
I watched her video on 2x speed, and it felt like an eternity.
Well, yeah, because 2x speed still means that you had to have it on for 2 hours.
Like, what the fuck?
Like at that point, you've probably got to put it on 4x speed, and even that's still going to be.
I wouldn't be able to understand it.
Yeah, I know.
I was talking to a comrade as I was watching the video, actually, about how I would respond to it, because I'm not going to reveal who my comrade is for his own protection, but because I can't do a video like that without talking to a Jewish person first for advice. Yeah,
but I did let him know. I did let him know that I don't know if he went to bed or not already, but he has the link, so he'll see it.
Well, I recommend everyone to denounce this person, not just us, everyone. Because a lot of young people watch her, and that's what makes me angry most of all.
A lot of very young, impressionable, and let's be honest, trans people or questioning people who, are looking for that person to look, they're looking for someone to look up to and to, and to get advice from and stuff like that. And these particular individuals, these, social media influencers who end up having takes like this, end up, promoting very harmful shit. And okay, in this case, it's might not directly end up being harmful to trans people, but in the long run, it does make us look bad because history is going to look back on on this and be just kind of like, okay, so why were certain trans people back then supporting Zionism, which is why
That's true, but I think you'd have to be a transphobe to not think.
That's fair.
To think that that's the whole case for everybody. But
the thing
people
is,
do that.
I'm not saying this to be general. I'm saying this is true. I don't think Jessie Gender is a Zionist. I don't think she is. But the thing that's problematic about her video is she's way out of her depth and she's trying to please everybody.
That's liberalism right there.
Yet she pisses off even Zionists with her video.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, and I know I'm kind of kind of bringing up an old joke. I think it was from I want to say D.L. Hughley or somebody, but basically it's just kind of but in this case it related to trans people. It's just like, okay, you're not, it's like, okay, Jesse, you're not a Zionist, but you are right now wearing a Zionist uniform, and you need to take it the fuck off, because you need to like quit, because essentially that video was her essentially cosplaying as a Zionist. And it's just like, if you're not, and yeah, I agree. I don't think that she's a Zionist, but she definitely has some opinions that are very misguided, and and again are going to be very misleading to a lot of young, impressionable individuals who might be experiencing questioning their gender identity. And that's why I find it so important for trans people who are on the actual left to actually talk about this, and actually and to call out bullshit like this, because which is why I think that I do have at least whether everyone in the trans community that I'm part of supports all my viewpoints or not is beside the point. The fact is that I'm a true anti-Zionist, in that I'm against the genocide. I believe in getting rid of the oppressor class, and and actually and I know that, and whether they agree with me or not, I'm sorry, but voting for somebody that is, quote, the lesser of two evils is doesn't change anything. It's just we're going to continue to go around and around in circles on that. So
you fucked up when you make the leftist mafia look, they're more left wing than you are. You fucked up.
Yeah,
the leftist mafia criticizes Zionists all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Even though they're liberals, at least they'll criticize Israel. Well, of course they do kind of. They do kind of say we should vote for whoever, but they at least will criticize like Harris and for basically talking down to protesters. At least they'll do that. I'm not giving them too much expectations, but at least they're doing that.
Yeah, it's like we can give them an inch, just don't let them take a mile. Yeah.
I don't know who any of these people are.
I feel like we're getting to the point where we're going to be repeating ourselves if we continue.
Yeah.
So, to closing thoughts on this whole situation?
Honestly, nothing that I probably haven't already said, and that I probably won't follow up with in my video. That I'll probably be filming that tomorrow, if I'm honest, because I don't know if I'm going to have the energy tonight. But I will have that out hopefully tomorrow or the next day afterwards. Depends on how I feel and my schedule. But in the meantime, yeah, like I've lost a lot of, I've lost any respect that I did or did not have for Jesse Gender after this, and quite frankly, get roasted.
Yeah, she is a disappointment. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for my audience that watched her. Because I shared her videos, I recommended her videos, I talked about her in a positive light, and she does this. Like, I take this very seriously when it comes to like anti-fascism. There is no exception for this. Like, if your friends are fucking fascists, you cut them from your life. You don't have anything to do with them. Like, if you are truly sincere about being an anarchist, or whatever the fuck you call yourself, can you please read actual literature of anarchism and Marxism, please?
Literally read theory. And I will also just say this as someone who is an anti-fascist trans woman. I do want to apologize to the trans community and to the leftist community and to anybody out there who who listens to to Jesse Gender or anybody specific like that and is being misguided or feels betrayed by what went on, or if we have shared content of hers in the past, like, we are sorry that we have, because she is a big disappointment.
She's a lesson on why you should not expect anything from media personalities.
Yep.
I'm never going to expect anything out of a media personality. In fact, if she does watch this and she got this far, I'm just going to say this: stick to your lane.
Yeah, and leave leave situations like this, particular topics like this, to people that actually know what they're talking about, especially people in the trans community that know what they're talking about. And last but not least, for me, never forget, from the river to the sea, until Palestine is free.
Agreed.
Free Palestine. Keep up the struggle.
Free Palestine.
Red